Polish your piece. Masterpiece, then write a masterpiece. Deep breath and release. So all you need is depth, breath, and belief to polish your piece.
Here we go again. Polish your piece. Writers, readers, and in-betweeners. It's your boy D to the E to the V. And y'all know who I got with me today.
You know, it's your homie, the Truth the Poet, out here chilling with y'all, man. And we got a special guest for y'all.
Oh, listen.
Absolutely.
I want to hear about that special guest, but first, I need to know what the first rule is for the ground rules of the pod.
Oh, well, you know, the number one rule, as it always is love, man. It is love. With love, you have everything great, no hate. So please keep an open heart and an open mind through this podcast, and we're going to have some fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Couple more ground rules. Listen, participate. This is not a community if you don't participate. This is for all writers. This is for people who read. This is for people who do a little bit of both, okay? So, when you get in the comments, show off your skills. Give us a double entendre if that's your skill in the comments. Give us a song hook about how you felt about it, all right? Be creative in your responses, okay? Now, D.A. Truth, D.A. Poet.
Yeah.
You brought your mans through the spot today.
Oh, I brought my mans through the spot today, and I'm super excited to have you, man. It is a honor and a pleasure. Let me tell the people who we got in the building, all right? Man we got in the building goes by Backpack Jeff, right? This man is an artist, an entrepreneur. He's a curator, an educator, motivational speaker, man. Woo. Father and an owner, okay? So, and a person who's always going to tell you how to stay in your bag. Yes. So please welcome, without further ado, Backpack Jeff.
What's
what
going
it
on?
is. What it is, man.
Oh, everything is good. How y'all feeling?
Oh, we feeling good.
Y'all feeling
I'm
great?
feeling great. I'm feeling great. How you feeling?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling like an ice cube in a glass of water, you know what I'm saying? I'm chilling.
That's amazing. I want to say thank y'all for having me. This is such an honor to be a part of this, and 5 is my favorite number. Ooh. So it's you know, it feels righteous. It feels like divine intervention. So I'm greatly appreciative of this opportunity, and I'm ready to get in my bag. I'm ready to help some other people get in their bag so they don't got to chase the bag.
Can you say that one more time?
I'm ready to help some people get in their bag so they don't have to chase the bag.
Oh man, I feel like we're gonna be saying get in your bag. I think that's gonna be the phrase for the day.
Yeah. Stay in your bag. You know what I'm saying?
Stay in your bag.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we ready to get this thing popping, man, and learn a whole lot about you
yes.
and your artistry and your entrepreneurship, because I really see you out here just, like I said, getting in your bag and staying in your bag without having to chase it. You're not out here chasing it. So, Dev, you got to open a question for my guy.
I do. I need to know, when is the moment, right, that you knew you were an artist / motivational speaker / business extraordinaire? Like, when did you know?
He trying to go viral off the first question. So I was doing slam poetry in 2014. And I was competing in Pittsburgh, and I did a poem about how everything was going to be okay in trauma and through depression. And somebody right before me had done a poem about trauma and depression, how everything wasn't going to be okay. And so I broke an unspoken rule that I had no idea about. I was just going and doing the poem that I knew was going to get me the best score. And so this guy, after the show, my poem scored better than his. After the show, gets in my face, like right here. It's like, how are you going to do a poem right after? And I was like, whoa, what happened? Like, I didn't even know this was a rule. I didn't know this was a thing. I just knew this poem was going to give me a really good score because it makes people cry. Right. And so I did that poem, and right after I stopped writing because I didn't like how that poem made him feel. I stopped writing. I fast forward like a couple months later, I was hosting a gala, and there was a billionaire in the audience. He owns Nemacolin Woodlands Spa and Resort, and he owns 84 Lumber in Pittsburgh. And I think there's an 84 number around here somewhere too. Yeah. And they asked me to do a poem. I was like, no, I'm not doing any poems. They asked me to do a poem. And so I decided to do a poem, and I decided to do that same poem that made that artist upset. And afterwards, he asked me for a copy of that poem, and I sold a copy of that poem to him for $300. And he's a famous art collector, and my poem is signed in his art collection and part of his art. And that was a defining moment for me, that my poems and poetry isn't for everybody, and I would never let somebody take my pen out my hand ever again.
Ooh, you just said a word right
2014, that was the moment.
2014. Now see, this is what I like about that, right? All right. So you already done cracked open. This is gonna be our first segment of the day. All right. Okay. So one of our standing segments, y'all know, this is Yeah But Why.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, but why? So this is what you said that brings this segment to life.
Okay.
You said my art is not for everyone, right? And some people understand that, some people don't.
Okay.
You juxtapose two incidences, right? One, you did a poem after somebody, their feelings was hurt, okay, because of an unspoken rule. Two, you did a poem in a room full of people, right? And this person who knows themselves, to me, I would say probably know themselves a little bit better, more successful, right? They said, I need that to be a part of what I do, of what I see every day. I want to be inspired. I want to look at it. I want to see it. Sometimes people try to control you. Hey, don't post about this because people don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't such and such because people don't like that, right? I'll be like, I don't even want to play social media though, but I know if it's 8 billion people in the world, it's 100,000 people that feel the way I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you saying everything is not for everybody, yeah, that's true. But why? Explain that to us.
So I'm a person who's big on quotes, and Fab has this fabulous, one of my favorite musicians of all time, artists of all time. He has this song, and a line in it, he says, if you ain't got haters, you probably ain't got nothing. And it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to be able to please everybody. The idea is for you to just please yourself, number one, and to please the people who enjoy you and what it is that you do. And so that's where my mindset goes. I've learned early on in my career not to read the comments. So my poetry is for people who enjoy it, and I know people enjoy it because of the energy they give me, because of the feedback that they give me. So even though I want the appreciation from everyone, I realize and recognize that I just won't get that appreciation. And correction, this happened in 2017, not 2014. I wasn't even writing during that time.
Okay. So with that, do you have a particular audience that you speak to that is receiving your work? Because like, you know, I mean, like with artists, you know, you might have, some women might have just that women audience that they gravitate to. Maybe with men, maybe it's just, you know, young men that are your main audience. Is there a specific audience that you have, or is it just depending on where you are?
It really depends on where I am. I'm a person who likes to be versatile. So I can go into your elementary school, your middle school, your high school, your barbershop, your hair salon, your funeral, your business event, your birthday party, your wedding, your corporate event. I can go anywhere and do the same poems and be absolutely amazing, and just mix in, you know, some other poems that relate specifically. So that's one thing that I take pride in, is that I want my poetry to represent all versions of my life, not just one particular version of my life.
So tell me, how do you manage this versatility? Because a lot of artists, you know, have a problem with that. Like they can only focus on, oh, I'm just a love poet. You know what I mean? And they don't, and if the event is not about love, and if it's not, you know, all sappy, then they don't feel like their poem is going to resonate. So how do you take, like you said, you do the same poem in several venues of several different audiences and make it relevant?
As an artist, you probably only really need like 8 to 10 poems to be extremely successful as a poet. You need 2 women empowerment poems. You need 2 faith-based poems. You need 2 poems on mental health. You need 2 poems on success. And that right there, a round robin of those 8 poems can literally get you in the door anywhere. It doesn't matter. If you're doing a mental health event, I would do 2 mental health poems and I would do 1 success poem. If I'm going to a women's empowerment event, I would do 2 women empowerment poems and a success poem. It doesn't matter where you go. You can. I haven't written a new poem since the pandemic.
That sounds like like Drake with the formula, right? People be annoyed. People are annoyed. All these Drake records sound the same. If the man keep generating hit albums for his base, his goal is to make money. It's not to please you and your artistry. So as I'm hearing you talk, right, you just gave artists a guide. You just said, hey, you need 2 poems about women. Mm-hmm. You need 2 poems about success. Mm-hmm. You need 2 poems about this, 2 poems about that. If you can go ahead and make your pockets deep within that. Now, you say you haven't wrote since the pandemic. I would add a layer to that, and I would say every 2 or 1 or 2 years, update them 8
sure.
to 10 poems.
I would agree with that.
Right?
Agreed.
Okay.
But you seem like you're a man that follows formulas.
I'm big on formulas. Templates.
So, templates and formulas. Now, from a writing perspective,
okay,
do you also write with a formula?
No. So it actually takes me a long time to write a poem. So I get lines. To me, the way my mind works, it's like a poem to me is like a puzzle. And I'll get a line, and then I'll get another line, and then I'll get another line. And it'll be like line 5, line 13, and line 18 if there's 20 lines in this poem. And sometimes they'll be out of order, and I've got to read this line over and over and over again, and I've got to figure out how to connect line 5 to line 12 and to line 18. And because I'm a storyteller at heart, so naturally, and people ask me, how do you remember poems? I don't remember poems, I remember stories. So if I can remember the story that I'm telling, I can always remember the poem because it's my story that I'm telling, or it's a story that I wrote, that I'm creating. So I just try to figure out, and then I'll say a couple of lines more, and I'll be like, you know what? These lines are better at 1 and 2, so I'll move this up to 1 and 2, and then I'll read lines 1 and 2, 1 and 2 to figure out lines 3 and 4, and then it meshes with 5, and then I'll keep going like that. That's like how my mind works. So I have notes in my phone of poetry lines and of poetry concepts that I want to write, and sometimes they're finished, most of the times they're not.
So within your writing process, how much revision do you do? Are you somebody who has a poem belabor in completion for a long time? I hear you talking about how your lines fit in your poems, things like that.
Yeah.
So are you one of those type of poets who often in your revision process, do you leave poems incomplete? Like, do you perform poems and then go back and revise them, or do you get the poems out and get them finished?
No, I don't. No poem is complete until you put it on stage. And so after I put it on stage, there will be small revisions, and then there's also the performance revisions of how I need to say a certain line, the energy that I need to give a certain line, or do I need to let a line breathe? So sometimes I'll go in and I'll add certain things, but most of the times when it gets on the stage, it's like 90% complete, and then I'll start adding some stuff to it.
Okay. So a poem could be like not completely finished when you perform it.
For sure.
Okay. How do you judge that?
Audience reaction and how I felt about it. If the audience really liked it, then and then also how I felt performing it. Because you know when you're performing something, how you feel about it after you get off stage. If it doesn't feel good, I'm like, nah, I gotta go back and do something. Like my poem for the poem that I wrote for men, I performed it like 3 times and I do not like it. Time to go back to the drawing board.
Your poem that you did for who?
For men. So like I do women empowerment. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do women empowerment poems. It's called For My Brothers. And the poem that I wrote For My Brothers, I do not like it.
Where you originally from?
Prince George's County area, DC. Grew up in DC till I was about 10 years old in PG County. So
I'm just hearing the accent like for men. I'm like, I thought you said for me twice. I mean, you know, yeah, absolutely.
Some southern too. So my dad's side of the family's from Atlanta. My mom's side of the family's from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. You frequent Atlanta?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, every summer in Atlanta. If school was out June 13th, we was in Atlanta June 14th.
Okay.
Gone.
Yeah. Word. All right. So speaking of Atlanta, now that you talking about Atlanta, right? I see you. You know, you did the Funny Friday joint. with your man. You was not mocking, but ode to your man. You know, Sleep is for Suckers, the pod or whatever like that. You going to the podcast summit in July?
No, I'm not, because it's July 4th weekend, and that's always family reunion weekend.
For the family.
Yeah.
I think I might be in there.
For real?
I might have to go.
Did you go to the one he just did in Glen Burnie?
My man went. My business partner Jimmy went, and that's when he got his ticket. So I'm sure y'all was there together.
Yeah.
But talk to me about. So obviously for everybody out there who don't know, check the man's page out at Backpack Jeff. But this guy is doing a skit based on, and I think it's a very high level and highly intelligent skit to do. Like, some people won't find it as amusing because it's so high level. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the issue of people coming on podcasts to talk about why they're successful, but they are not as confident yet in their success. So they don't know what gems are for free and what gems people should pay them for. Mm-hmm. So talk to me about that. Like, in your own work, how do you measure out the value of what you would say here to us? And then some things you would say, hold on, yo, let's talk off camera because other people had to pay me for this training.
I'll tell you anything. It doesn't matter, paid or not. So I learned 2 very valuable lessons. One from Alex Good Energy, who's down in Atlanta, and he said, if you ever feel like you're giving out too much information for free, you probably don't know enough. It would take me years to give you the amount of information that I have up here. So even if you watched all of my stuff,
Wait a minute. 1 second.
Because I need you to repeat that. I need you to repeat it.
You was about
Say
to go
it
too
slower.
far.
Yeah.
Say it
if
slower
you
for
ever
the
feel
people
like
that-
you're giving away too much information for free, you probably don't know enough.
Okay, and who will be quoting?
Alex Good Energy.
Alex Good. He has some good energy.
He's got good energy. He's trucking, big into trucking in Atlanta.
What?
Super big into trucking. If you ever feel like you're giving away too much information for free, you probably don't know enough. And that was a lesson for me.
Feel like it's hitting some people at home right now. It's hitting. Some people feeling it in their chests.
And the second very important lesson that I learned this from Alex Hormozy. If you don't know who Alex Hormozy is and you're an entrepreneur, you need to go and figure out who this man is. $100 million leads and $100 million offers, 2 books that everyone needs to read, amazing books. And he said, give the information away, give the information for free and sell the implementation. So I'll give you whatever. I'll tell you that you need a CRM. I'll tell you what emails. I'll tell you everything that you need to know. But just because I tell you that you need it doesn't mean you're going to know how to use it.
That just made you see my smile right here. Like that's making me cheese because that is so true.
That's so true. You want the fried eggs? Look, pepper, salt. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of garlic,
right?
A little bit of onions,
right?
And then they be like, "All right, but how I'm supposed?
At what point in time do I put what into what?" Grandma showed you how to make the grits. Yeah. Well, she ain't. You know what I'm saying? She ain't tell you. You know, she ain't tell you to use the whisk and everything. So I'm gonna give you the information, but I'm gonna sell you the implementation.
I love that.
That is powerful.
You ever know how it's a difference between doing something, you good at it, and knowing the science of it?
Yes.
See, so that's the bag that you in right now because I go, like, for example, my friends play pool. Okay. I played pool with them last weekend. Mm-hmm. I knocked a couple balls in. But they know if I hit this ball on this dot, it goes into this hole. And they know the science of it. Right. So what you speaking to is that me giving you the information is not me giving you the science of it for the implementation. Yes. So for all of you writers, that people who are want to be business coaches, extraordinaires, people who are coaching people in poetry, people who you can tell people why you're good. You can tell everybody why what you do is successful. Don't be I say game is free. Game is free. But when somebody says, show me how to do it, that's when you start quoting numbers. Yeah. Hey, man, you just dropped the gem right there.
Yeah, he's clearly showed you how to stay in your bag. You know what I mean? I mean, Truly.
Yeah, stay in your bag so you don't have to chase that bag. I learned those lessons along this journey. And when people ask me that question, I don't know how much I should give away for free. Man, give it all away. Give it all away. Reciprocity. I'm just now getting back a return, an ROI for the things that I've done 6-7 years ago. Just now, it's happening. And I'm seeing that, okay, I need to do more of this. I'm starting because at first I was like, I'm not going to do so many free events. But then I learned about an in-kind letter.
Yeah.
And it can break it down for people. What is an in-kind letter?
So an in-kind letter is essentially a letter that you get from an organization or a company that brought you in for free that says, hey, Backpack Jeff came to us, did this event for us, and he waived his fee of $3,500. And now, because you have that letter signed, as well as you have documentation that you actually did the event, now you got a $3,500 tax write-off. So people who doing free events, do free events.
Now, how many people knew that at home?
Just listen, have them write that. Listen, when I got that game, I was like, oh, who's got a free event? I'm going to all schools now for free. I'm gonna just talk to the principal. Hey, I just need you to. I got an in-kind letter template for you too.
Hey now.
All you gotta do is sign right here.
Make it easy.
Now hold on. Now that in-kind free, because this is the second time that we said the word template, and this being a writing podcast, because a reason why I think you're such a good guest, you writing poems, you writing motivational speeches. We're gonna talk about that in a few.
Yeah.
But you also have accumulated, I'm sure, a wealth of business templates.
Yes.
That's a part of writing. People don't understand. An invoice, you have to write it.
Huge.
Okay. Contract has to be written. Okay.
Reach out emails.
Emails to that when somebody responds, what's the next step, right? And now you just said an in-kind template. Okay. Talk us through the process of creating or finding or duplicating those templates.
I learned a very important lesson when I went to see Lisa Nichols, Trent Shelton speak, and the lesson was copy the right cat.
Come on now. Yo in this bag.
Copy the right
cat.
Copy the right cat. Find somebody who already has what it is that you need and copy it. And don't be afraid to purchase it in order to get the right thing. So if I see and I know this person and I trust this person, I've seen what they do, I've seen their work, I've seen how well they've done in their industry, and they have an in-kind letter that they're selling, I'm buying the in-kind letter from them.
Just so that we know, I want everybody to be clear. Just be clear, okay, everybody? I will be saying copy the right cat.
That's not mine. So
my regular who said it? Trent? Who said it?
I cannot remember her name, but she's the top seller in MAC makeup.
We're gonna call her MAC top seller.
Yes.
I will be stealing your joint. I'm copying the right cat by saying copy the right cat.
And she said that.
You feel what I'm saying? So don't be confused when everybody see, I'm always saying it. Yes, I am. Copy the right cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I give them credit for it too.
Absolutely.
That wasn't mine, that was theirs.
Simple. Simple, because how many people selling burgers? Nobody's mad that selling burgers. McDonald's and Burger King, they fake beef over who's selling burgers, but they do not care. Arby's, they got the meats.
Yeah.
Everybody just putting meat between
Five Guys.
Come on.
Shake Shack.
Burgers and fries. You know what I'm saying?
And everybody's still getting money.
Everybody's still getting money.
And see, I think that's another problem with, the industry and, with artists. We get so selfish thinking we got the gold. You know what I mean?
Man,
and that we can't even share, or we trying to hold what is everybody's anyway. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I realized? I realized that most people won't give you an opportunity on their platform because they feel like you'll outshine them.
Yes.
And if you outshine them, then they don't look good.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest lesson I learned from doing productions. If people was like, oh, you got Mike Even, you got Icon, you got this person, you got that person. What about you? I ain't worried about me. It's my show.
It's my
So, I chose them. So everybody, because it's my show, I won already.
Yeah.
The fact that I could get them to do the show
Right.
is a win. You know what I'm saying? So and we all offer something different.
Facts.
I take the market as an example all the time. How many types of bread or,
Come on.
cereals.
I'm gonna get the 647.
Oatmeal.
They want the
Coffee.
honey wheat.
Yes.
But hold on. Let's make it clear, right? Because your answer, I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I want it to be clear for the people.
Okay.
Your writing process, as far as templates are concerned, is to find a successful one because somebody's already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
People are sending emails and people are responding to them and paying them for whatever they sent the cold email for.
100%.
So your idea is learn, research, learn, figure out who's doing what you do, right? Get that money, find that, talk to them, or pay for their class, or hang
Because they sell it.
and and then buy it.
Yeah.
Or if they have emailed you,
Yeah.
copy the email and change it.
Literally.
So that is not plagiarism, though,
It's not.
because you know what I mean. It's a part of business.
It is.
Just like you can't have plagiarism on a burger and fries, you can't have plagiarism on a in-kind donation letter.
And if I want to sell it, then there's copyright laws that if I want to sell it, I can't sell it. I have to change everything. So I change everything about it. I change it to fit and to match me. And I didn't even value the fact that you could sell your email templates until Lisa Nichols said when she was on stage, I sell my email templates. I was like, what? I was giving these away. I can sell these? Yeah, sell your email templates. Huh. Don't worry.
How much are people paying for those?
$50 to $100.
Okay, because you're going to use it forever.
You don't use it forever.
That's a throwaway 50.
100%.
You're going to go get fast food within the next 25 days and you're going to spend 50.
Wow,
Yes.
yeah.
2 Chipotle bowls.
Yeah.
And don't add the guac or the double chicken. You at 75.
Easy.
Yeah, don't let you be paying for more than just yourself.
Easy. You gotta go. You got a family. Oh, it's going. You running the check up.
Yeah, you get 100
Yeah. But
for fast food.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So I sell, and that's the template that you use to send out to everybody. So in my process, when I'm writing different poems, I love personification. I use that a lot. But anytime I'm doing anything like in my poetry business, a lot of it is templates because I want to take the thought process out of thinking. And when you
Yeah.
He over here spitting bars, and it's just crazy.
I thought of 5 questions since you was just talking.
I want to take the thought process out of thinking.
Yeah. Because when people work with me, I don't want you to have to think about, well, what would Jeff say? There's a template for that. Mm-hmm. There's an SOP, standard operating procedure. Mm-hmm. You tie your shoes the same way every single time. Mm-hmm. You do certain things the same way every single time. So you don't have to guess. I don't want my assistant to have to guess on anything. Hey, what do I say next in this email? The template's right there.
Just implement.
Everybody goes through the same process. I color code everything that I've done in my business, so everybody goes through the same process. It's the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. We're trying to get everybody from red to violet. That's when we've done business with them. If they get to indigo and we haven't done business with them, guess what happens? They go right back into red 6 months later, and the process starts all over again.
Now, how did you get to create such a strategy for? I mean, you got it down packed for your poetry,
It's a
your
science.
business, and I'm pretty sure you have it for motivational speaking,
100%.
which I'm going to dig into soon. But like, what helped you get to learning to strategize what you're trying to accomplish?
I was in sales. I grew up in sales. My first job was in sales. I worked at Sears. I worked at Sears selling mattresses, vacuums, and sewing machines.
Word.
Knew nothing about any of them. And I was making a flat commission and working 20 hours a week. I was bringing home like $800 every 2 weeks. This was back in 2007, so long time ago. Not a lot of money now, but back then it was a lot of money. And I learned it through there, and I sold insurance. And you had to be very strategic on how you do things, very meticulous in the way that you work and the way that you move. And so I learned it from there, and I wanted to make things easier for me. So again, I can take the thinking, the thought process out of thinking. I wanted to take that out so that I don't have to guess. The simpler my life can be, the easier it'll be for me. So that's what got me being in sales and learning too. I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
I read a lot of books. I study. I watch a lot of podcasts, and that's where I get all of my information from. I'm pretty sure I have a PhD in entrepreneurship just from listening and reading books. Yeah.
Self-teaching,
100%. Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't do.
Yeah.
And we're talking about poetry here, and people don't think they need to be taught about, how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How to sell yourself or sell your poetry. It's all things we can consistently learn. I just learned, I don't know how many things from you just now. So I think it's powerful.
So where you have me at right now, I have two questions that both seem to be viable questions in this moment. We talking about the entrepreneurship, so I guess I'll just go with this one because I love entrepreneurial conversations.
Yeah.
You are advertising your booking method, which I assume has to do with the rainbow that you just named.
Yep.
Why is it so special? You started to allude to that, but why do you decide to make that a product that you sell? And tell us, it's some advertising, but it's also, tell us why it's so special.
Yeah, I think it's so special because it makes it, I want other people's lives to be easier as well. Because as an artist, we have enough, as a writer, we got enough thinking about the writing process. We don't want to have to think about, how do I sell them? How do I do this? And what's the process? And so you create SOPs, standard operating procedures, that you follow so that you can put all of your thinking and your thought process and your energy and your creativity into the thing that you actually do. Mm-hmm. I'm writing a new book, and it's called the 80-20 rule for entrepreneurship. 80% of what you do as an entrepreneur is back-end stuff. Strategizing, creating systems, writing, reading, collecting information, administration. Only 20% of what you do is actually doing the stuff. Right. Think about recording this podcast. Everything that you had to do before you record the podcast.
Right.
Come on.
And then you spend an hour and a half, 2 hours actually recording.
Exactly.
So you're spending all of this time practicing just to get ready for the game, and you got to be ready for the 20%. So that's kind of like what my thought process is. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing the 80%. I just want to do the 20%.
You trying to automate the 80%.
Yes, there you go. That's how you. Yes.
Let's automate the 80%.
There you go.
So that we can
focus on the 20%, and you can be phenomenal in the 20%.
Listen, that is a fact, because the mental work that it takes me to do that, I'm never able to be my full self in this chair. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like earlier, Tree was looking at me like, is this dude gonna be good? Because his eyes is crossed. You know what I'm saying? You must up the energy, but you think about the 20 people you gotta talk to. Hey, is everything good? Yeah. Big showcase here last night. Had to rearrange this to rearrange that, even before people's schedules. All of that stuff.
Usain Bolt has a quote, and he said, I trained for 4 years for a 9-second race. Imagine training thousands of hours for 4 years for 9 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine it, and it leads me to the second question that I was going to ask. So I understand your answer is I want to automate the back end so that people can be better at the product thing that they actually do.
Yes.
Right? That leads me to this. You seem to do a lot of research. And I saw you was having your breakfast. You was having some eggs and some bacon. And you said, you know what I'm saying? The chicken.
He did some research for real.
You know what I'm saying? The chicken I was doing my 80. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my 80%.
That's the 80%.
You know what I'm saying? You scroll Instagram for 2 hours just to ask that man 3 questions. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
The chicken was involved, but the bacon was committed. Now, how do you say that writers can be committed or can be committed rather than be involved? Do they have to be? You know, when people writing for their business, or when we don't have a lot of poets on here, so I'm focusing more on the business aspect. Yeah. Right? Do people have to be committed in business? What does it look like? Is it okay to be involved?
It's not okay to just be involved. You got to be committed to it, and you really got to take a huge sacrifice. I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of things they're going to have to do when they decide to do something. When you decide to be a creative, when you decide to be a full-time entrepreneurship, a lot of people underestimate the amount of stuff you're going to have to go through. And you can't just be involved. You have to 100% be committed, because what you'll find is that if you're only involved, it means you have a plan B or you have something on the side, and you don't want to have something on the side. You want plan B needs to be follow plan A. Like 100%, and plan C needs to be refer to plan B, which is follow plan A. All the way down the alphabet. So as a writer, it's important to be committed to your business, because it's the business of what you do. I was just talking to a mentee of mine, and we're sending out proposals, and they need a phone number. And I'm like, you got a phone number? He's like, no, I only have my personal. So you need a Google Voice number, or you need to go get another cell phone. When they call your number, do you have a voicemail set up? You'd be surprised how many people don't have a voicemail set up. Yeah. You can't leave voicemails on my personal phone, but you can leave voicemails on my business phone. You'd be surprised. Do you have an address? Because we need to put something on there. You don't want to give out your home address, so you need a P.O. box at the very least. P.O. box or a virtual address. We can't send out a proposal for a couple $1,000s without having this stuff in line. Do you got insurance? I was talking to my wife about that. About that the other day. Do you got business insurance? Somebody's doing some stuff at his house, and I'm like, bro, what if something happens? You got insurance? Oh, I got homeowners insurance. You're an idiot now, because I got an LLC. Well, if your business is at your home is now liable. So you need business insurance. Go to Hiscox, pay $50 a month for $1 million worth of coverage.
Facts. That was my first insurance for the company that we got too.
Now I got a question, because what you're talking about is people who really want to be self-entrepreneurs, who really want to do this for themselves. Because what I notice is, like, there's everybody doesn't want to be a fisherman. Yeah. You know what I mean? They just want to benefit from the fish. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to actually go out there and do all of the work. They just want to eat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what you're talking about, and what I want the people out here to understand, is what Backpack Jeff is giving you is how to manage your own business and be that person that is reciprocal of all the fruits of your labor. Yeah. But there are some artists out here who just want to do the art, and now what they're not realizing is they're becoming somebody else's product, because they need managers. There's people out here who are not ready or
it's just chickens. It's chickens out here.
Are not here to be fishermen.
Yeah, just pop an egg out. Let me hold your egg, and I'll give you a couple.
Just take me. There's a lot of people that take me. So in this journey, have you ever thought about those people and making, and you know, I mean, those artists who aren't willing to fish for themselves and make money off of them? So
I have thought about that.
That's a great extension of my question.
That's a phenomenal extension. And I'll tell you this, I have thought about that, and I feel like I know 3 phenomenal artists that if I was booking for them, they'd be booked all the time, and we'd run up a check.
Yo, let's talk after this.
Okay. We would when I tell you 3 artists, I know 3, and a part of me wants to reach out to them and say something, but I don't want to offend their business, because they are full time in what it is that they do. But I'm like, yo, I got some plays for you, and I just know, and I know you're not doing the back end stuff.
So why do you think it would be offensive?
Because I don't know, because scammers is out here and they're real.
and also people people want to do business for themselves for the purpose of not being critiqued, of not being told where they can grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come across all the time people who own businesses, and I hire them, and then when I'm telling them how to deliver the service to me, they tell me I'm not their boss. And I'll be so completely confused because any client you have is your boss.
and here's like, so I see them in there. I see them doing their 80%, and it's not automated. Like, if it's not automated, and so I'm like, oh my goodness, I can help you with that, and even with different ideas to the point where if you I think I heard this on a podcast, but it was like, if you have to be present for your business to run, you're not an entrepreneur. You're self-employed.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You're self-employed.
That's a fact.
You're not a boss.
Yeah.
You work for yourself. I want to get my business to the point where I don't have to be present all the time. If I always have to be present to perform and to speak, I don't want that, because what happens if something happens to me? Then that's it. I just don't make no money. Right. So this is when you got to create products. You got to create stuff. And I look at certain people and I'm like, yo, why are you not doing this? Mm-hmm. There's no reason that we can have thousands of speakers out here making crazy money, and we can't have thousands of poets out here doing the same thing.
That is wild. So with that being said, what inspired you to become a motivational speaker?
So I actually started both of them at the same exact time. The poetry just took off faster than the speaking did. Because where can you go to practice your speaking? I mean, who knows? Right. Where can you go to practice your poetry? Open mic nights, and they're everywhere. Here in the DMV area, they're 5 nights a week, so you can get all of the practice in. And so what happened was people started to recognize me for the poetry over the speaking, until I decided to take a step back on the poetry and let the speaking lead the way. And what I did was I started to go out into speaking more, and then I started to connect with more people, and I started to learn. So where can you go to practice speaking? Go to MarylandBusinessRoundtable.org, mbrt.org. They'll connect you.
In his bag.
They need volunteers for schools all over the state of Maryland.
Say it again, so for the people in the back.
M as in Mary, B as in boy, R as in Roger, T as in Tom.org. You're gonna email Carrie, tell her Backpack Jeff sent you.
Told you who to email. If y'all not listening,
you're going to email Carrie. This is going to get you into the schools, in front of a classroom or in front of a big audience, right? And watch this. Here's what I did. So I went to a high school in PG County. I knew I was going under them, and she wants you to create relationships. So before I got to the school, I called the principal. Hey, how you doing? My name is Jeff Young. I go by Backpack Jeff. Hey, I'm going to be coming to your school next week on Tuesday, speaking in Mr. Rogers' classroom. I would love to introduce myself to you, and maybe you can peek your head in and see some of the speech and get some reactions from the students. Oh yeah, absolutely. He comes in, sees me speak. The kid's super engaging, super interactive, loves how I'm speaking. After I'm done, calls me. He says, hey, can we get you in to speak to the whole school?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Now this is paid. Now this is paid. Now they want me to do a mentor program there too.
Right.
Off of that free opportunity, Maryland Business Roundtable, thank you. Call us anywhere I go. I'm calling the principal, I'm calling the vice principal. Somebody will come in here, come in this classroom and see me speak.
So, what you be breaking it down? What are your core keys to success?
Core keys to success.
Your core keys to success. I feel like everybody has their own, but what are your core keys?
Meaning, hold on. Now this is one of our segments.
Let's go.
Okay. Define success. So, is that your question?
Well,
what does success mean to him?
I want to know what his core keys to get to success, but that's a great follow-up.
Okay. So, first question.
Okay.
What are the core keys to you getting to a successful...
To your bag, or to remaining where you are?
I got you.
Where you are.
I got a formula.
There we go.
I got a formula. It's called Term K. TERMK. time, experience, resources, money, knowledge. Time, you got to get your 10,000 hours. As quickly as you possibly can. Get to your 10,000 hours. Experience. You're going to need as much experience as you possibly can. Give it away for free until people start saying you, hey, I don't want you to give this away for free anymore. I need to pay you for this. You're going to need experience. Resources. Resources in terms of things. In terms of people. You're going to need resources. Regardless of what it is that you do, you're going to need resources in terms of people and in terms of things. Money, you're gonna need money. Everything costs in this world. Don't be afraid to go and do some side hustles. Uber Eats, DoorDash, Lyft, Uber. When we bought our house, I did $200 in the morning before work, $100 in the morning, $100 after work, $200 a day for 40 days, $8,000. There's my down payment for my house. My wife did the same exact thing. Money, you're gonna need money. You're gonna need to spend money. You're gonna lose some money, and you gotta spend money to make money. And then knowledge. You need to be so knowledgeable that no one should be able to tell you something about your industry that you don't already know.
So how many books do you read a year?
So a mentor of mine told me that you should read 30. The most successful people in this world read about 30 to 40 books every single year.
Okay.
So
how much time per day or week do you spend reading?
Probably about 7 hours.
7 hours a week. Is that including like your podcast you listen to?
No, this is just like actually reading. So I read 15 pages in the morning, 15 pages at night. That's 30 pages a day. The average self-help book has about 300 pages in it. If I read 30 pages a day, over 10 days, I can finish one book. If I finish a book every 10 days, I can read 36 and a half books every year.
Again, another formulas.
Come on, man.
Formulas.
Like, we twins or something. We just
Yeah.
Tia and Tamara.
Right.
Jeff and Dad.
I got the formula.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So now here's the next question. What does success mean to you? This is the segment. Define success. What does success mean to you? Some people, like from an artist perspective, I want to get a record deal. I want to get a book deal. I want to make $1 million. I want to be millionaire, right? I've always said if I had 1,000 people paying me, if I make a profit of $100 off of 1,000 people every year, that's $100,000 salary. So I don't need much more than that. You know, in my opinion of like what success. So tell me, define success for yourself. How's Backpack Jeff? He made it.
For me, success is measured in the amount of people you bless. So for me, I had the goal. It was like you of $100,000, and I got there, and then I listened to David Shan say, if you have a goal of $100,000, it's probably one of the most selfish goals you could ever have. And I was like, okay, tell me more. I'm always objective when people say stuff. I'm like, okay, tell me more. He said, you can't change nobody's life with $100,000. You need to be a millionaire. Because when you become a millionaire, you can actually change people's lives.
I saw that clip too.
And I was like, okay, forget it. I got to be a millionaire. I said, okay, I got to be a millionaire. So if I don't make it to a millionaire, I'm fine still. But success looks like to me being able to take care of my family and being able to provide information resources. My ultimate goals in life is I want to coach somebody into becoming a millionaire, and I want to coach multiple people into six figures. If I can do that, then I would deem myself successful, because I live by, I think it's Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn, their philosophy of the more people you can help get what they want, the more you can have what you want. So my goal in life is to help other people get what they want. So in turn, I can get the things that I want. Like we were talking about it earlier before we start recording. I believe that life is paying me back right now for all of the things that I've done. Like I really feel like this, y'all. I feel like I can do some grimy stuff right now because I've deposited so much into the good karma bag. Like for real, I've deposited so much into the good karma bag that I can do something grimy and still be good because of my deposit somewhere.
Because your greatness over.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I won't. But yeah. So to me, success looks like the amount of people that I'm able to help achieve what they deem as success.
So that's crazy, right? With you saying that, and also a little bit earlier you talked about recognition, and you talked about the good. And I understand, like we talk about what David Shannon said, like 100,000, that's selfish because only you can spend that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether I agree with that or not isn't important.
For sure.
But talk to me about this one in particular Truthful Tuesday you had, right? Where you said
my man went back and did 80.
You said, you feel me? You said you was worried about the recognition that you was receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And you started to understand that the recognition is not as important as the impact.
Mm-hmm.
So talk me through that. How do you get yourself there? Because all performers, all speakers seek the immediate validation of a ooh and an ah from the crowd. People come up to you, tell you your stuff is nice, awards and different things like that. How do you get yourself to the place of where you got to, where you said, what's more important is my impact?
This was a hard lesson that I had to learn recently because I felt like I wasn't being celebrated enough. For like my goal was I want the 35 under 35, I want the 40 under 40, and I see certain people get and I don't know, like this is why I'm in therapy, because I'm trying to figure out is this a negative thing that I feel, because I see other people getting recognized and I'm like, man, I want to be recognized too for the things that I'm doing, and I'm doing amazing work. I'm in juvenile detention centers every week doing amazing work. I'm in schools every week doing amazing work, and it's like nobody's seeing it. And it's like, am I valued if no one is seeing the work that I'm doing? And I started to take a deeper look at certain things. Like, I'm not going to say this specific award, but someone came and they talked about an award they were getting, and I was like, tell me about that award. And they were like, oh, well, I know the people who run the.
Yeah.
So, time out. So you know the people who run the award show, so that's the reason that you're
getting in the award.
Okay. And I even get frustrated when I see certain things, like people on panels and entrepreneur stuff, and I'm like, yo, how come nobody's reaching out to me and saying, Backpack, we want you on? Like, who's giving more game than I am? Like who? And so sometimes I go to events. When I Hood College TEDx, I applied, didn't get accepted. So I said, well, let me see who they chose over me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to this joint and it was abysmal.
Mm.
And I don't know. And a part of me is like, I don't know, am I a hater? Because I went to the Small Business Expo and I saw another speaker speaking and I looked around the crowd. So when I go somewhere, I'm not just an attendee, I'm a student. I'm trying to see how the crowd is reacting, how they're engaging. Some people don't react because they're in such deep thought, and you can see a person in deep thought. Yeah. And so I'm like, I sat in there for 10 minutes and I was like, man, I gotta leave because I feel like I could do this so much better if I were on that stage and I had this opportunity. And so I learned how to get that opportunity. I learned that you can pay for that opportunity and to be in front of those people. And so I was like, next year I'm doing that. I'm gonna pay, to be in front of these people. I don't care what it costs. So yeah, I had to get to that point. I had to do more research on some of the awards and how they're ran, so that I can become more confident in myself. And I said, you know what, as long as I'm making the impact, and as long as God knows what, the work that I'm doing, then I'm fine with that. Because at the end of the day, the awards aren't changing the paychecks.
True.
Now they could boost you in terms of what you might get, but I'm still doing really well.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I want to applaud you, and I want to let you know that your work is not going unnoticed.
I appreciate
that. And I know that it's difficult. I understand your plight because I've been in that situation. Like you said, you're doing so much planting, so much gardening, and you're planting and you're like, when this tree gonna grow? When the fruit gonna happen? When it gonna grow? You know what I'm saying? It's been rained and rained and rained and I endured it, and I'm not seeing the fruits of my labor.
Been through these seasons 7 times.
Right. But it comes.
Yeah.
It comes, and then you realize that the real reward that you received is better than the award you was waiting on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You know what I'm
Tell
saying?
the
So
truth.
I want you to just be patient. Like you said, the fruits of your labor is starting to come and fall into your lap, and it's going to be in abundance.
Yeah.
So much so that you're going to be like, I don't even know why I wanted this and I wanted that and I was waiting for this and I was waiting for that person to applaud me. We give so much weight to people in our lives that shouldn't be given weight to. It shouldn't, validate who we are. So again,
I received that. I received that full-heartedly.
From polish to peace to you.
Yes.
Amen.
We celebrate you,
I appreciate that.
respect you,
Facts.
and you are truly killing it. And I can't wait for more people to receive you and see what you are doing for the community of just not even the people who are receiving your words, but for the artists who are receiving your work. And I think that's just a big thing that you're doing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I needed that. Truthfully.
Wow.
Truthfully, I needed that. So I appreciate that.
And also too, that's not fake. Like, it's not. It's when I say it's not fake, it is also
Because
not.
it's the truth.
But it's
I see what you did.
pun intended, pun intended. But more importantly, like sometimes people will have a thought, like a noble person would see that in you and say it to you because you need to hear it. I wanted to not say, not that it's not fake, but she believed that and thought that before she knew you needed to hear it.
Yeah.
Because as we've been planning this pod, Steven bringing your name up, talking about it, that's the reason why I would go and do the research and figure out who we talking to and what we got going on and whatever like that, because she been championing your name in rooms that you're not in, you know what I'm saying, for conversations. And this was a great pod. I feel like this could be a 3-hour joint.
Listen,
Yeah.
I feel like we'll get into some more stuff, and we definitely gonna talk offline and move some things forward.
let's do it.
But until then, man, tell the people where they can follow you and get more of this information, what you got coming up.
For sure. So you all can find me at Backpack Jeff. Backpack Jeff, not Backpack Jack, and it's not Backpack Joe. It's Backpack JEFF on all social media platforms. I have an entrepreneur group. So for any entrepreneurs that want to that want to come and join the group, it's called the Winner Circle. We meet every Tuesday night and Sunday night. You all can join and learn how to create income through your artistry, and it's an investment of $87 a month. But for you all, if you use the coupon code Polish Your Piece, I'll give it to you for the first month for $20.
Ooh.
And anybody who signs up, I'll throw y'all half of however many people sign up. So
Polish your piece.
Do the affiliate, but so I have my entrepreneur group, and I teach people how to do exactly what it is that I do. And a lot of the things that I buy and I pay for, I give everybody in my group access to it, because I want to be able to share the wealth, and I want to be able to spread the knowledge. And as far as what I have coming up, I have a lot coming up, so it's best to just follow me on social media platforms. The most active one is Instagram and TikTok second. No, Instagram and then YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Subscribe
right
to
there.
YouTube channel.
Get in there.
You feel me? So Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. From there, my motto is always stay in your bag, so you never gotta chase a bag.
And just like that. Just like that, that's where it is, man. Again, we appreciate you.
I appreciate
We
y'all.
appreciate you coming through, giving this wealth of knowledge. I hope everybody out there listening has tapped in and are starting to get in their bag because of the Backpack Jeff, man. How you feeling, baby?
I feel great. Go ahead, take us off.
Oh man, remember y'all are a work of art, so work your art to only masterpiece. Here at Polish Your Piece. Be easy, y'all. Peace.
Cheers.